Hello, I'm Bruce Zimmerman, and this is the Open Line Garden Show podcast for this week. Now, Hydrangea macrophylla, or the big leaf hydrangeas. Again, like all hydrangeas, they like moisture. They really use it up. You're going to need to mulch these. You're going to have a high content organic soil that holds the moisture for as long as possible for this particular series of hydrangeas. Hydrangeas, hydra, okay, water, okay, little hint. You really do need them for this one. They will take full sun to part shade, and they are good for cutting. They are a little less hardy than a lot of the smooth-leafed hydrangeas. So I will say this, pick your spot and grow these on, because these are the ones that look like the florist hydrangeas you get at Mother's Day. That's generally the easiest way for you to go and consider it. But also, you'll find that a lot of them will give you the color ranges, and you can change the color to more of the blues and the purples as well. So, let's start with Edgy Hearts. Edgy Hearts is a dark pink, reddish florets. It has a thin, pure white line around the margin. It is a medium-sized plant. It's 2 to 4 feet. It's hardy to zone 5, 6. Now, somewhere in there, and it does bloom in the summertime. Because it does change, you will find that it's possible that this one can be moved into the blues using aluminum sulfate. Now, we then go into the City Line compact hydrangeas. Now, these ones, very similar, still a big-leafed hydrangea. They tend to be floppy. Weak-stemmed hydrangeas, probably because they're a little weak-stemmed, but also because the heads are so large and very heavy, and, of course, in the wind, will bend over. So, you may find that you have a harder time finding these. Not all of them will be available. They're often called by a city somewhere in the world. So that's why they're called City Line. They're a compact type of hydrangea. Let's start with the Berlin. We'll do a little tour of the world here. Berlin is going to be a hydrangea, basically hardy to 5 to 6, 2 to 3 feet in height and width. You're going to get the pink-colored flowers. It is the largest in the series, with the longest lasting, that does change to green with age. They have glossy green leaves with a lot of mildew resistance, which is possibly a good idea in areas with high humidity like the Niagara Peninsula. Now, the next one is Mars. Okay, so we're fine. We'll assume there's a place on Earth called Mars. Okay, it's a bicolor. The flowers are a really high, beautiful plant. The foliage is a nice dark glossy green. You're going to like this one. It's hardy to zone 5, 6, 2 to 3 feet. It does bloom in the summertime, and it's good for cutting. The very fact that it's sort of a bicolor white and pink makes it a little more unusual. That is a good thing, okay? And it's worth trying this one to get it to go. But so pick the spot carefully, out of winter wind. Paris is the next City Line hydrangea we're going to talk about. It's a small plant. It's only 1 to 2 feet in diameter. The flowers are an intense red. They're very large, showy. They last a long time, and they do change to green with age. Summer bloom, and of course hardy to zone 5-6, right? Rio is the next city line hydrangea. It's a medium-sized plant. It's earlier blooming than many of the others. They have large, long-lasting blooms. The flower color ranges from a strong blue to purple, depending upon the availability of the aluminum sulfate. In other words, you can going to get a much better color if you actually change the pH of the soil using aluminum sulfate. This can be picked up easily at any garden center. Probably buy it when you get the plants, work it into the existing soil, and you may have to top dress with this each spring, not first thing, but just a little after the May, when it starts to warm up and you're getting growth. That's probably the best time. The Rio is 2 to 3 feet, hardy to zone 5-6, and it is a summer bloomer that's good for color. Full sun, partial shade for all of these. Venice is the next one. Big, bright, fuchsia-colored flowers. The flowers last a long time, and they do change to green. The height on this plant is 1 to 3 feet, hardy to zone 5-6, and you may want to try this one because of the color again. Now that's Venice. Now there's City Line Vienna. It's a dark pink or blue flowers when it comes out, and again, it'll be the aluminum sulfate that changes it from pink to blue. So, often you will find that these plants have already been budded, the pH has been changed to give you the best success first thing. So look for that as well. That's City Line Vienna, 1 to 3 feet in height and diameter. Summer bloomer, and it is another one where you pick your spot very carefully. Now, the next ones are the Let's Dance reblooming hydrangeas. I've grown some of these. I'm really impressed with them. They usually do quite well. And the reason is that they were bred in Michigan, which means they're a little closer to our sort of conditions for growing. And that makes them a better hydrangea into our gardens. They are a reblooming big leaf hydrangea. They do stand the cold weather. They do cut back the plants each fall, though, to test their ability to make sure that the new wood flower buds, even in cold, will actually bloom in the cold. And yet, if they leave the buds complete, they're hardy too. In other words, they don't prune them back. So you've got one that blooms on new wood and old wood. Remember that is a possibility. This is why you must always leave hydrangeas you don't know. It's so important to leave them till you find out how they bloom and on which wood they bloom. New wood, old wood, or new and old wood. First one is Let's Dance Big Easy. It's got the big heads on it. Its color changes from pink to green to pink and often back to green. So it's a pink-green that changes to pink and then changes back to green. Confusing? Yes. 2 to 3 feet, hardy to zone 5. You'll probably like this series of hydrangeas, by the way. Let's Dance Blue Jangles. This one is a reblooming hydrangea. It's compact. It's 1 to 2 feet. It's basically a good, strong garden performer. It is hardy to zone 5, and you can try this one as well as a cut flower. Let's Dance Diva. Okay, we should all experience being a diva sometime or other in our lives. Supersized blooms on these. They are baby blue or pink, depending on the pH. It is a very heavy rebloomer, which is a good thing as well. And it is extremely popular with people. Again, 3 to 4 feet though, hardy to zone 5. I think you'll like this one. Let's Dance Rave. That makes sense. It's a reliable bloomer. It has the large heads that are a rich violet purple on acidic soils. An intense saturated pink on alkaline soils. So choose how you want to change the pH of your soil. 2 to 3 feet, hardy to zone 5, and it does summer rebloom. Let's Dance Rhythmic Blue is one of the strongest rebloomers in the Let's Dance Hydrangea series. The florets have a distinctive star-shaped sepals that are packed into really tight, colorful mop-head flowers that shift from pink to amethyst blue pH, right? As well. So full sun, partial shade, 2 to 3 feet, hardy to zone 5. Let's Dance Starlight. Now, this one is a rebloomer. It's been around a long time. It's probably one of the first ones that were developed in this series. Hardy, dependable, reliable, colorful, large blooms, vivid pink or blue, depending on the pH. And you'll find that it's only 2 to 3 feet and hardy to zone 5. One more in this series is Paraloup. It is a hot pink to pink purple florets that are doubled, and they sort of arch down into like little umbrellas. So what you're going to find is this one is going to be hanging over, but it holds up well in the heat, and it really does well in cold winters. It's compact in its habits, got glossy green foliage. It is 2.5 to 3 feet in diameter, hardy to zone 5, summer bloomer, both shade and full sun. I think you're going to like this one because it's double. And that means it's got extra sets of petals in each floret. So you're going to find that that one is an interesting full-flowered lace cap. That does give you the bigger show because it is full head, full flowers. You can't see through it. Now there is the paniculata hydrangeas, and we'll do a few of these. So with these ones, the hardy hydrangeas, you're going to find that they like the moisture again. They like the mulch. Many of them are all different sizes, in heights as well. And you're going to find that a lot of breeding has been done in these ones simply because of the color. And it predominates in the pinks. So you will get whites, pinks as well. There is going to be a lime green one, or at least a couple lime green ones. But these are the ones that have been around a little while, and people are finding them quite successful. So we'll do Bobo. Bobo is like the clown, but anyways, it's a dwarf hydrangea. It's only 30 to 36 inches tall. It's hardy to zone 3. It is large white flowers in the summertime. They're held upright on strong stems. They continue to grow and lengthen as they bloom. The early blooming variety, so it blooms a little earlier than many of the other newer type hydrangeas as well. And again, hardy to zone 3, 30 to 36 inches, 3 feet tall, but it can be 36 to 48 inches wide. So pick your spot. Full sun, partial shade, cut flowers as well. I'm Bruce Zimmerman. This is the Open Line Garden Show podcast for this week.